Hey everybody, how's it going? It's Joe, and welcome back to another episode of the Inside Our Phillies podcast. The Phillies are coming off of a 2-1 series win over the Washington Nationals. On Friday, they took the loss 5-4 in a game that Duran blew a save in. Saturday, 6-4 win, and then here on Sunday afternoon, a 3-2 win. And here to talk about it, we have metssuck. How's it going, man?
Doing good, man. How you doing?
Pretty good. Glad to get a series win, and I am so glad to be done with the Washington Nationals. I mean, they've been so annoying to play.
They remind me of the Marlins in 2003 when we were just could not beat them, or 2001 when we were trying to win, and we just could not beat them, and that's kind of what the Nats felt like. Just every time you felt like you had something solved, they come back and they hit a home run in the bottom of ninth, and now or top of ninth, and now it's a one-run game. It's like Jesus, like what can we do to get rid of these guys?
Absolutely. Or even just a reminder of the Marlins from a few years ago when, we would miss the playoffs because we struggled against the Marlins and nobody else in the division did. Overall in these last 7 games against the Nationals, the Phillies had 4 wins, 3 losses. Not great, but, the Mets are also not letting the world on fire. So the Phillies are continuing to keep up pace in the division. They're now 7 up against the Mets, which is great to see. But let's get right into the series and first discuss today's game and Ranger Suarez, who was great. 7 innings, no runs, 11 strikeouts. What did you think about Ranger?
Ranger was Ranger. He's exactly what I expected from him. He had that blip a couple of starts ago where he let the umpire bother him, I think, and then once he said it himself last week on Monday when with Wheeler out, and just he has his time to step up, and you could tell that he kind of recognized that he kind of let his emotions get in the way, and this is just Ranger. This is the Ranger I expect to see. This is the Ranger I've been telling everybody who was complaining about him or worried about him. It's like, no, he always comes around this time of year. He'll be good, and maybe I'm just living too much on track record, but I feel like it's gonna be good.
A lot better about him than I did, that's for sure. Let's take a look at his ERA by month. That's something I'd like to take a look at. May, his ERA was 2.97, June 1.30, July 4.57, and August 4.45. So a little bit of improvement over July, but especially in these last couple starts, he's looked like Ranger again. I mentioned a couple episodes ago that the Phillies needed 2 or 3 of Ranger Suarez, Aaron Nola, to stop up. And really those 2 guys have stepped up, and I'm really glad to see that. And Aaron Nola, what did he think about his start? Aaron Nola, had a very bad first start coming back, couldn't get through the 3rd inning. But this time he got through 6 strong, allowed a couple solo shots to the end there. But what do you think?
So the first run just kind of I throw away, right? That was Weston Wilson making just a really dumb decision. And then, I think that's what led to that run. He got out of that. He didn't let that spiral, which made me happy. As
Big
far
deal
as
for
the
him.
home run, what's that?
Big deal for him. He usually has a tendency to
Yeah,
let things spiral,
exactly.
and he didn't in that inning.
Yeah, exactly. And then you go into the home runs. The first one was just a laser that just clicked the pole. I mean, that I didn't even think it was a home run until he starts running the bases. I just thought it was a foul ball off the bat. And then the one that was crushed. I mean, that just unfortunately that's Nola, um, and that's something you're going to deal with Nola. But if he's letting up solo shots, he's giving up 3 runs over 6 innings, 2 of them earned. Yeah, give me that in the playoffs all day.
100%. I'm with you. And that Abrams home run was hit just like a rocket. The one that bounced off the foul pole, that almost bounced all the way back into the infield, which I feel like I never see that
Like
kind of stuff before.
I never saw it hit. Like I was I was hanging out with my family, and we just kind of had the game on in the background, and my dad and I were watching, and we looked up and like, how was that a home run? We both thought it was a foul ball off the bat,
Yeah.
and then we never saw it hit the pole. We never saw it bounce back. But if it bounced back that far, that's crazy.
There's something about like a ball that goes off the foul pole that's just like so beautiful. Like it's just such like a baseball thing. It's probably my favorite kind of home run. And then the third starter of this series.
As long as we're hitting it.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we prefer that, but I think it's a pretty baseball play, regardless. And especially, I felt good, even though with Aaron Nola allowing those solo shots, like that's kind of just Aaron Nola. It's kind of like if you're gonna die with Aaron Nola on the mound, it's usually going to be from 1,000 cuts, not just like a big gut punch. And as long as he's not allowing runners on base, he only had one walk, so that's really something that I like to see, limit the damage that way. Solo shots are going to happen with him, right? And it is what it is.
Like I said, you give me 6 innings, 2 earned runs in October. I'll take that all day from any starting pitcher, but especially with Nola, with the injuries he's had this year and the old odd year thing with him. I'm good.
Yeah, and then Taijuan Walker was the other starting pitcher that the Phillies had in this series, and he was okay. I felt like it was a little bit of a regression to the mean for Taijuan Walker, but he still got through 5 innings, 3 runs, so not quite a quality start, but still, what did you think of Taijuan?
Again, it's the same thing, right? You give me 5 runs and you give me 3 runs in 5 innings for Taijuan Walker, I'm going to be happy. I mean, just the
Yeah,
reality. He's the dude stepped up, man. I told you last year, I'm going to buy his jersey when I don't think he's good enough to buy full price for a jersey, but I'll buy his jersey when it goes on sale. And just because of what a good teammate he's been, and then this year he's really stepped it up, and he's got almost a 2 WAR. He's got 1.8 WAR on Baseball Reference, right? 96 innings, 70 strikeouts. I mean, he's got a save, right? He had a 5 innings, 4 inning save, which I was at, which was pretty cool. He's we joke, my friends and I would joke with schedule losses pitching, right? But he's good. He's a good 5 hole pitcher right now. Now, what he's being paid? No, he's not good for that, but he's good for being a 5 hole. And if he's going to
yeah.
be, a game 4 starter, if that's where it has to come to, I'm comfortable with that, right? We started Bailey Falter in game 4 in 2022, so I feel like I'll take Taiwan right now over what we started in the NLCS and World Series in 2022, and that's assuming that we need him as a starter, which I don't think we will.
Brings up actually a really good point because right now, what would your rotation look like? Like, I have a hard time. Number one, right in the postseason is Chris Sanchez. He's
Yeah,
the
there's
ace.
no doubt.
He's number one with the capital O. But who are you starting in games 2 and 3 in like a hypothetical NLDS?
So I'm going Sanchez. I'm going Sanchez, Suarez, Luzardo. If
Okay,
I want to break it up and if I want to throw Nola in there, I can do that. If I want to get the righty in there, I'll go Sanchez, Suarez, Nola. I don't think we need. I think NLDS, right? We only need 3 pitchers. We can Sanchez can come back around for game 4 if I remember correctly this year, the way it breaks. So I probably would. Right now I'd probably put Luzardo in the pen to give me 1 or 2 innings, shut him down because I think if he's only needs to get 1 or 2, he's gonna be great.
yeah.
Um, I, I I think right now it's Sanchez, Ranger, and then either Luzardo or Nola.
How much of a concern do you have with having it be 3 lefties?
So that's probably the biggest thing because the teams are playing against the teams in the NL. From what I've been reading, they pretty much feast on lefties.
They do.
Um, so that's my concern. But again, I don't think so Sanchez. First off, I don't care. Right? He should if he doesn't win the Cy Young this year, he's going to finish second. So I don't care I don't care that he's a lefty or righty. Right? That's like if we had you know Wheeler followed
That it
by
doesn't
Roy
matter.
Halladay, and right, it's
Yeah.
like if you had Wheeler followed by Roy Halladay, followed by Kurt Stilling, right? Do you care that there's 3 righties? No, they're all studs, right? So he's a stud. Ranger, he's such a different lefty that he doesn't overpower you like Sanchez and Luzardo will. So it's almost like a different pitcher. It might not be a righty, but it's definitely a different style. It's not like you're getting into the groove playing the same type of pitcher 3 days in a row.
Yeah. Taking a look at the National League, competitors against lefties. The Dodgers are the best team in the National League against lefties with a 756 OPS, that's 5th overall in the league. The Cubs are 8th. The Brewers are 9th. We're there number 10. And then you kind of have a little bit of a drop down to the Mets, who are 15th in the league with their OPS against lefties. And then the Padres below that, 19th. And the Reds, who might make the playoffs, are 25th. So they're really quite bad against lefties. But I think that's going to be a very matchup dependent thing. I don't think I'm that far away from you. Like, obviously Sanchez is number one. I think that Ranger is done enough to earn my trust to, let me pencil him in at number 2. And then I'd go Nola number 3, just because I am scared in a potential game 3 pivotal game. You're either looking to stay alive, clinch a series, or go ahead 2-1. Like the risk of a blowout with him on the mound is just a little bit too high for me personally.
You're saying you are going with him at 3, or you're not going with him at 3 because of the risk of
I'm put
blowout?
I'm putting Luzardo in the bullpen. I'm putting
Okay.
Nola at number 3.
So I would, if I'm doing a 3-game series, I'm probably doing that just because I don't see any way I can use Nola out of the bullpen, right? I'd almost use Nola as a starter as a opener versus anything else. If I get to the point, if assuming that he's still able to pitch, right, and he's not completely blowing up between now and then to the point where you don't even want him pitching at all.
Yeah.
Um, I think I'm using him as an opener, with Luzardo piggybacking him, um, or Walker piggybacking him, honestly, and just being prepared and let him go as long as he can, but being prepared with a quick hook.
That's where I was going to go with the piggyback, because especially with Luzardo and
Well,
Nola, like they have such different looks, right? Like you get like power from the left side, you get kind of a more crafty guy that's trying to get you curveballs in the dirt and sinkers that are just cutting the inside corner. Like it's such different looks from two opposite sides. Like I feel like a Luzardo Nola piggyback would be like really effective.
it would. I like the Lazar. I so it all depends on what we get from Nola. If we get that, we get yesterday from Nola, which again it was just the Nationals. But if we get that, I don't need to piggyback him. If we get him that for next month, I don't feel the need to piggyback him. But I would have Walker or Luzardo ready to jump into the game, really early in that game 3, especially if it's 2-0, if we're up, if we're down 1, if we're down 2-0, or if it's 1-1 going into game 3, I'd have them ready to, short hook on Nola, ready to move into the next guy. And I probably would go Walker, honestly, just to get out of the inning, and I would move into Luzardo going forward.
Yeah, that makes sense with like Luzardo's struggles with runners on
Yeah,
base. Like, you wouldn't
yeah.
want to put him into a situation that he's more likely to fail in. So that's part of the question we got from
I,
Owen's
I could
deck.
throw I could throw Walker in there. I could throw Walker in there with the guy on base. He could get out of the inning without throwing a pitch.
Yeah, no, with his pickoff moves. I mean, is he the best like pickoff guy that the Phillies have had since Terry Mulholland? He might be.
He's the best right-hander I've ever seen that I've paid attention to. Right? I mean, I don't know. I don't ever remember the Phillies having a guy from the right side who could pick off like this.
Yeah, I mean, all the hype you hear about like the Terry Mulholland pickoff move, step off, but I
Mulholland
feel
was
like
insane. Terry,
Walker is from the right side, but it's like not that far off.
yeah, Terry Mulholland was insane. He was so good. Cole had a good one, but it wasn't nearly as good as Mulholland's was. He just, I remember that I was young, but I remember watching him just like, wow. The guy got on first. You weren't worried because he was going to get him out a good amount of time.
And for a lefty, the lefty is so much easier to control the bases. Like what Walker does from the
Yes,
right side is just so impressive.
it's yeah. I mean, it's part of the reason why he was a Gold Glove finalist a couple years ago, right? Because of it all goes together.
He almost had back-to-back pickoffs. It's just like
And
crazy.
almost had 3 total. I mean, he actually had 3 if he depends on how didn't we have 3 replay reviews on pickoffs because the umpire got all 3 wrong?
Yeah, we did.
It's crazy.
Crazy stuff to see. But that was
Yeah.
the first part of the question we got from Owen's deck, who was just asking what we thought about how Nola looked and how we feel about him for the rest of the season. What I want to do is just like, what would you put as like, earlier we did a trust tier list with the bullpen guys. Is your ordering of how you would have people in the postseason, is it based on trust or is it based on something else for you?
It's a combination of trust and matchup, right? It's more of tiering than it is like straight down the line, right? If I'm going, ninth inning is Duran, period. Like no question. I don't want to bring him in at the eighth, and because we've got, I trust everybody. I trust everybody in the back of our bullpen to get out Shohei if they need to, or Mookie Betts if they need to, right? Everybody in the top 2 or 3 tiers, right? I go down a tier and it's Kirkering and Strom. And I know Strom struggled this year, but I don't know. Maybe I'm just naive. I still trust him. I could
Makes
be
one of
just
us.
yeah. I'm probably back a baseball card long term, thinking, but I still think that, especially I don't know. Maybe I've seen him go against Otani a couple of times and just blow the ball past him. Maybe that's just stuck in my head. Um, And then, I probably go down a tier. I probably looking at Banks, right? And who else is that back there? I'm trying to think. blanking right now.
You got a lot of the big names there, right? I mean, you got Robertson.
Yeah. I mean, obviously Alvarado won't be there. Hang on, I'm pulling up the list. Oh, you know, yeah, Banks, Strom, Romano, obviously no part of him. Honestly, I trust Max Lazar. I think he'll be back up in a few weeks, or
Probably.
the end of this week. And David Robertson, that's who I was missing. I knew I was missing somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah, Robertson's right there with Banks, right? I mean, so if we get to if we need to pull somebody in the fifth inning, you bring in Robertson, I'm good with it. Bring in Banks. Look at what Banks did today, right? Bases loaded, nobody out. He got a double play ball and a fly out
He's
and
the
gave up
most
one
valuable player
run.
of the game for me. I mean, he won the game for them essentially with that
Ranger
amazing
won the
job out of
game.
the bullpen. Oh, sure,
Yeah,
but
he was. I have other thoughts on the team today, but we'll get into that. But I look at the bullpen and the guys who's going to be there. So figure we're going to be so it's what 13 men on the roster, so it'll be 5 stars, so eight-man bullpen, and that's assuming let's just
well,
assume we have
really,
all
it's
5 starters. It's really
really
a
it's like
9-man
9
bullpen,
because you only need 4
right?
starters. Yeah.
Right, but I'm going to throw if we start bringing in Jesus Luzardo, and you tell me Luzardo comes in the seventh inning with a clean seventh inning, I'm not going to trust him for 2 innings. No, I'm going to absolutely trust him for 2 innings, right?
Yeah.
And or Ranger the other way around, right? But if I think about my 8, right? So I got Duran, Kerkering, Strom, Banks, and Robertson. Those 5 are fully on the trust tree, right? And I bring in Lazar. I'm sorry, I'm putting him on the trust tree. I think he's been really good.
He
He's
can
got
give
a
you a
couple
couple
of
innings.
yeah, and not only that, but I mean he's an ERA plus a 94, which not great, but pretty good. 21 strikeouts in 32 innings. 21 strikeouts and 9 walks. Pretty good there. He's given up 5 homers, so a little concerning there, but all in all, pretty good. And then I look at somebody then you're down to the bottom of the barrel, and it doesn't really matter at that point, right? If we're going much more deeper than that in our pitchers, we're either blowing the team out or we're getting our ass kicked.
Yeah, I've heard the idea a lot discussed of you need 8 pitchers in the playoffs, right? Probably 3 or 4 starters, 4 or 5 guys in the bullpen that you trust the most, and really you want those 8 guys to be throwing all of your innings in the postseason in a perfect world.
Correct, because
I'm with you.
if you think about tonight, Kerkering pitches the ninth in the playoffs. Duran's pitching the ninth if we're up by 2 runs. Period.
Yeah,
Right?
they probably wanted to save Duran for the Mets game tomorrow because if he pitched
the
today,
last
he
2
wouldn't.
days, but the thing is, there's not going to be any 3 games in 3 days.
Yes.
Right? There's definitely not going to be 4 games in 4 days.
Right? Well, right now we're in a period too where we have a lot of games in a row. I mean, there's no off day this week. We have 3 games against the Mets, going right into 4 against the Braves. So it's a while before the next off day. So it was the right call to get Duran a little bit of a break.
Well, yeah, but that's my point, though. In the playoffs, that's not happening. In the playoffs, he's going in no matter what. So I'm all about that, and I don't think we need that much.
No, I'm with you for the most part on the bullpen. I'd have Duran at number 1 for sure.
Oh yeah.
For me, it's just a blip. Obviously he's not bad because he had a couple of shaky games in this series. It's fine. He's still Johan Duran. I completely.
I think
trust
actually,
him.
let me get to your. I want to get to that first before you get to the rest of your. I think that was good to happen on Friday night, right? We needed to see how he reacted and came right back out the next day. 2, can we just put somebody in the line? This guy's throwing 103 miles an hour. Swing's gonna be late. Balls are gonna trickle down over the first and third base lines. Why are we not positioned there? And
I
hopefully
just
they
blame
will
that
be.
on Rob Thompson. That makes no sense.
Yeah,
Rob
you know
Rob
what I think
Thompson's been
about.
very questionable.
Yeah, you know how I feel about him. So, and for those who don't know, I'm not a fan. I think he's a winning manager and he brings a good clubhouse mentality, but some of the decisions he makes are just baffling.
Because the nose are disastrous.
Yeah, I mean, but I think it was good that he had a blow up at home and then came back the next day and got the job done. Right? I think one, the fans need to see it because he's not going to be 2008 Brad Lidge, right? They need to see that he can lose. We can lose with this guy on the mound. So that way, if it does happen in the playoffs, we're at least mentally able to handle it. And I think it's good for the team to see, hey, we need to get our shit together and move forward.
Yeah, no, that's okay. I'm with you that, he's perfectly fine. Though I thought it was a little bit weird how in the 9th inning, after there was the double off of Duran, I don't remember who hit the double. Might have been Abrams. But like the Phillies fans were booing. I don't know if they were booing because the Nationals hit a double or if they were booing because it was House. House hit the double and then Hassel had the single. Um, I hope they weren't booing Duran. I'm typically not a big fan of like the booing for no reason, and I don't know. I just thought that was pretty bad in the ninth inning on Saturday night, but that's just
Yeah,
me.
I don't think anybody was booing Ron. To be honest with you, I could be wrong. I think it's just the situation, right? You get upset, and I'm a booer. I'm a booer, so I have no issue with it.
Yeah, and then after Duran in my trust, I'd go to Robertson, number two, which I think a lot of people would be surprised by, but he has looked really good. And you look across the last few years, and his first half ERA is just so much better than his second half
Yeah,
ERA, and his velocity is up. He is energized. Like he does not look 40 years old on the mound. He looks really, really good, and I'd have him at number
last night,
two.
how he bounced off that mound, and was that last night when he bounced off the mound and just he looked
Yeah,
like a kid.
he did. He
As
did.
a
Rob,
44-year-old, I can tell you that is not easy to do.
I have so much faith in Robertson, which maybe I shouldn't, but I do. Right now, my number one lefty, I kind of go Banks. Like Strom, the results haven't been bad, but especially against lefties, he's been struggling, which is a little bit weird since he pitches from the left side. And I feel like the ball's getting hit hard, even if it's getting hit hard on the ground into ground outs or hit hard in the air into flyouts. It feels like he's getting hit pretty hard. And I would probably go Banks over Strom right now, even though that's a little bit weird to say.
So he and Banks have some peripherals that are pretty similar, right? They both have the same hit per nine. Banks gives up more home runs per nine. Strom, where I think his honestly the thing that been frustrating with me with Strom is his walks. He's at almost 3 walks per nine right now, and that's where he frustrates me, and I think that's why I still have trust in him because that's something that in my mind is easily fixed. It's just command, and these guys are so good that they can figure that out a lot more than anything else. At least that's the way I look at it.
Yeah, no, I'm with you there. And then one other guy that kind of struggled this weekend, Jose Alvarado. Um, what do you think of him kind of coming back from the PED suspension and not looking that good? His velocity is okay, but the results aren't really there. What do you think?
So I left him off the trust tree for obvious reasons.
Because he's not playing in the postseason, he's not
Correct.
eligible.
He's only pitched, and this is only his third game today since coming back. I thought the first one was good. I'm trying to remember it, but I thought one of them was good. I'm trying to remember him right now. Yeah, first one, no hits, no run, one strikeout, three batters, 14 pitches. Second one, 1 inning, one hit. Today was probably the worst one, and I thought he got a little squeezed a little bit on a couple of those pitches today too. I thought the umpire today was just atrocious on both sides,
Yeah,
at least based off the box on NBC Sports Philadelphia. So take that for what it's worth.
box isn't really accurate, but I get it.
Right, right. But I think that I honestly until I was fully on board with just running him to the ground until today, and even today after today, I think he'll be fine. Again, he's just somebody I have trust in. Again, I might have just too much trust in him because I've seen him do it for so long. Um, but he's at .8 baseball WAR this year. This even with the suspensions, so he was moving.
Yeah,
He was pitching good.
absolutely. Um, so that's a lot of discussion about the pitching. Let's kind of move on to the hitting side, where the thing that really stood out to me this series was Castellanos had a pretty good series. 5 of 11, so he was getting some good bat to the ball. Do you believe it? I don't. I'm still very low on Castellanos, but good to see that he can still have a good series from time to time.
This is where Castellanos is gonna be Castellanos. He's gonna be cold and he's gonna get really, really hot. And then I'm just hoping that really, really hot happens in October.
Yeah, I mean,
'Cause he's gonna have a run like he did against the Braves a couple years ago where he hit 4 home runs in 2 games.
hmm,
And he's gonna have runs like that in one or two of these playoff series that's gonna make a difference for us, if he gets hot. If he stays cold like he has been for most of the season, then play. I can't believe I'm going to say it, but play Max, Max. I but I- I've always been a Cassie believer, and I'm gonna just because I know he's a streaky guy. Right? He's gonna get hot. He's gonna get cold, and I'm hoping we're through the cold.
yeah, I hope so. I don't think so. I kind of think Castellanos is a little bit cooked. But
I mean, I think you're probably more likely than right, and I'm probably being optimistic. Um, but I also do know that he can get hot, and if he gets hot at the right time, it's going to be awesome.
yeah, no, that's true. And you probably have to start him in the postseason because of that
Yeah.
and be ready to have a quick hook, in case he does struggle. The guy who's really not getting playing time right now is Max Kepler. He only played in one game this series. It seems like Harrison Bader has kind of taken over a lot of the time. What do you make of that move?
I like Bader. I'm not necessarily sure. I mean, he had a good day today, but I'm not sure his on field batting has been great for us since we got him over. I'm looking up right now with us, right? So he's 240, 328, 340 for 668. That's not good enough.
Hmm.
But I kind of feel like there's a winning player in there. He's as much as Casty is streaky. I every time I remember playing against this guy and watching him, it always felt like he won. He hit the he had the he did the job he needed to do. The home run save a couple weeks ago. The good day today, just things like that. I feel like he's a guy that's gonna. I don't know. It goes against all sabermetric stuff. I feel like he's gonna win. Maybe he just reminds me of the '93 team that I love, and that's part of it. But I just feel like he's gonna find a way to get a W.
Yeah, no, that's fair. This series offensively wasn't nearly as exciting as the Seattle series, where they went completely off and hot beyond belief. But something that I've been thinking about a lot is in the postseason, what is your ideal 1 through 4 in the lineup?
So it's Turner, Schwarber, Harper, obviously.
Hmm.
I want Bohm to be able to just gap to gap line drive doubles. Just do that all day. And then I don't want to put JT 4. I think it's too much.
I agree,
You know what I mean?
but I don't know what the head choice they have, right? Like, to me, I would put JT 4. I agree with everything you said, and I would put JT in 4 because I don't think Bohm can go gap to gap that well right now. He's kind of just like a slap singles hitter. Castellanos, I definitely don't want him to be
I
the
don't want
guy to
Castellanos
protect
there.
Harper.
Listen, as much as I just powered on Castellanos to get him hot, you let him get hot at 7, right? Let him be at the bottom of the lineup and get hot at the 7th spot. I don't want him at 4.
Less impactful that way, right? He's not going to kill you the same way he would at 4.
Yeah, I mean, I just can't wait to see ground balls to shortstop with Harper on first and double plays in the playoffs where Castellanos isn't even in the screen when the ball gets to first base.
And JT hasn't been hitting into those double plays recently. First half of
Don't
this year, it was like nonstop and
don't
stopped
jinx it,
recently.
man. Don't jinx it. No, JT's found fountain of youth since what June 1st. Um, he's been he's been turning back the clock and he's been just a stud and he's proven why we need to re-sign him. Just give him a 2-year deal, whatever money he wants, do it. You got to do it. He's not maybe not be the best catcher in baseball because of Cal Raleigh, but if he's not in the top 5, I don't know what list you're looking at.
Yeah, I would be willing to 2 years and really have a lot of money on it. Like 2 years, 45 million, or maybe even 50 million. I get worried about the third year and especially the fourth year. Like I don't think the Phillies should consider a fourth year for JT, but 2 years is reasonable.
No, I think 2 years with a mutual option for the third is probably where you end up. Um, if you're the Phillies, what does he want? What does anybody else can give him? I don't know. Like I said, he's a top 5 catcher still in baseball.
There's nobody else really on the free agent market. I mean,
Yeah,
Adley Rutschman
the
looks like he'll
market's
be
terrible.
available for trade, but the trade are giving up probably a lot of prospects for Adley and JT. You can just sign for money. He's probably getting the qualifying offer at the very least.
Oh yeah. So remind me again how that works. Can we give as many as we want out, or can we only give one out? I don't think it's like the NFL. I think it's
Yeah, it's as many as you want. You can give out as many qualifying offers as you want. I think it's like around 23 million for like a 1 year deal. If the qualifying offer and the player can either take it or if they decline it, you essentially get like a free, like high
perfect.
second round pick the next year.
Yeah. So we should be giving 3 out this year. We should be giving one to Schwarber, one to Remoto, and one to Ranger.
I agree with you. I think there's going to be 3 qualifying offers this year. I'm completely in agreement there.
And
The thing with
I think we re-signed Schwarber and Remoto.
Yeah, I think Ranger is gone still. Like,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
velocity graph, you look at him losing velocity every year, and as the year goes on, he loses more and more. Like, it feels to me like a deal for Ranger is going to be one that people regret, even if I do think he can be good the rest of the year. But with Bohm, I sent you this picture, and it's a shame that people can't see it. I'll put it in the podcast channel on Discord. But look at the way that the outfielders are aligned for Alec Bohm. The center fielder is
They're
really
cutting
not
out the
even
gaps.
playing in center field. The center fielder is playing in right center. The left fielder is playing in left center. There's just a giant gap in left center field, and there's a giant gap down the left field line. For a right-handed hitter, especially somebody with the frame of Alec Bohm, you should be able to pull the ball down that gap. You should be able to pull the ball over the third base bag for power. And the fact that Alec Bohm still can't do that is why I think he's so frustrating to a lot of fans, including me. And it's why I don't think he's really the kind of, prototypical four hitter.
He's not the prototypical four hitter, but he is also just coming back from his injury. He's, you look at the last 28 days, he's 348, 444, 550, 565 for a 10 OPS. Right? I mean,
He does lengthen the lineup, absolutely.
yeah.
He does.
But I don't, like I said, I want him at 4 or 5. I don't want JT at 4. I think is my thing. I don't want to put that much pressure on the catcher.
Yeah.
Right? I want him at 5. If my perfect lineup is probably Turner. If I could just go all the way down, it's right. Probably Turner, Schwarber, Harper, Bohm delivering is really what I'm hoping for. Remuto, and then probably Bader, and then Castellanos is very right-handed heavy lineup. And then you're looking at who am I? I mean, I'm missing somebody. Marsh and then Stott. So probably maybe Stott and Bader flip them around, right? Um,
Yeah.
and for the lefty part of it because you don't want to go too many righties in a row. But I think that's I don't know. That's just kind of where I want him. I don't want Cassie too high. Basically, I trust Cassie. I think he's going to get. I trust him to get hot at some point. I hope it gets October, but I don't want to put him up high. I want to let him get hot at the 7 hole and drive in. Bohm who takes a walk or JT who gets hit or gets a base hit or something like that. Right? I don't want him having to depend. I don't want to count on him driving in Harper.
Yeah, and that's what's so weird. Like, a lot of the better hitters that the Phillies have are all from the left side. You got Schwarber from the left side. You got Harper from the left side. You have Marsh, who I think is one of the better hitters against righties on this team. He's from the left side. The righties is really where the Phillies have struggled this year, and that's where we're looking for a righty in the cleanup spot, hitting fourth, and we have a month to figure it out. I think it probably will be Bohm in the playoffs. I'd rather have JT, but I think I agree with you that it probably will be Bohm. So with that being said, let's head a little bit into the news that we have.
Okay, can we talk about the offense a little bit real quick? We talked about the pitching this series. We didn't talk about the offense.
Yeah, sure.
There's one thing that I remember Friday night when they came back and JT hit the home run. I texted my buddy. I said, I wish we were in October already because this team is finding ways to score runs when they need to and win. And then they ended up blowing the game, which is again, I still left that game on a good note because of how they came back and how JT for the second time in I don't know what 3 or 4 days or at least a week or something like that hit a game which should have been a game winning home run in the 7th or 8th inning to
Mhm.
give us the lead. And then you look at that, you look at tonight, and that game should not have been as close as it was. We should have been up by 7 runs after the second inning. And that's where I'm worried about this offense is you talk about that lineup construction and all that. That's where I'm worried about is we get these guys on, these guys are getting patient, they're getting their walks, they're getting their singles, but there's nobody slugging them home. Marshawn, thank God, had to double in the first inning today because or else we would have lost today because
Yeah,
we couldn't get anybody across the plate. It felt like we just felt we can keep hitting this guy, and we just didn't get over the hump.
with you. The weird thing
Does that
is
worry
the
you?
offense.
Am I just insane with that worry, or is after 60 some odd hit series a couple days ago?
Yeah, no, I think you're kind of talking like the right way, right? Like, this offense to me, it doesn't feel good enough. But then you look at the numbers, right? Like, the power feels so down on this team. They only have 160 home runs this year, but that's still top 10 in the league. It's crazy that they're top 10 in the league because it feels like they only have two guys that really hit for power at all, in Harper and Schwarber. And Harper, obviously was out for a big portion of the year. but they're still top 10. Most offensive categories, this team is still top 10. But it does feel to me that when they sacrifice that top end power for bat to ball that they did over this offseason, you kind of have to start stringing together singles, right? Like you have to get a single here, a double here, a sac fly, and in a league where pitchers are trying to get so many strikeouts and strikeout rates are only continuing to go up and up and up, I feel like the odds of getting that string together, it goes down more and more and more. Like you need some kind of guy to be able to really, really just drive home runs. If you get a runner on third and one out, you have to trust that they're going to be able to hit the ball in the air and get the runner home. And I feel like the Phillies have a lot of guys that are line drive hitters or ground ball hitters and strikeout guys a lot of the time. And there's not many people on the team that I trust in those runner on third, less than 2 out situations. And that to me is the biggest problem that I feel with the offense.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. It's just there's no. It just So I was working on the West Coast this week, so I didn't get to watch any of the Mariners series, so I didn't get to see any of it. But what I saw this weekend was we get a guy on second with 1 out, no outs, and we couldn't get him home, right? And that's what I think in bottom of the second, was it second or third inning today where Marshall walked, thankfully, and we got the third run, but we didn't get anybody in. We bases loaded.
They
You
should
got
have
to
scored
score more
more.
than 1 run. You got to
They
score.
should have
That's my
scored more.
point. We should have won by 7 or 8, not by 1.
Yeah. No, and part of that is just this offensive environment right now, which is really quite bad across the league. Not nearly as bad as like the NPB in Japan, where teams average 2 runs a game. But pitching is just so far ahead of hitting, and it might be hard for hitters to catch up, and they've had a really hard time catching up to the advancements in pitching science. But the money that the Phillies are paying for guys, you'd think that we would have more people to trust in those key situations to move the runner over, get the runner home, and they're just not the case. All right, so anything else that you want to touch on with the offense?
No, that was the thing. I wanted to gripe about it because maybe I'm just jealous because I didn't get to watch any of the Mariners series because of work, and I got to watch some just relatively terrible offense this weekend.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think you might be for the best because now everybody's going to have in their heads, like, this is the Phillies offense. They're going to get, 2 20-hit games in 3-run series. And, they have that potential, but, I don't think that's going to be the way that most series go. I think that might have been what we look at as the high water mark for the offense the rest of this year. But hopefully not. Hopefully they continue to get hot. But for the big news piece that we have from the last few days, Wheeler is officially done for the year, so you imagine he's probably going to be moving to the 60-day IL pretty soon to clear up a 40-man spot. He got venous thoracic outlet surgery. I know a lot of people have compared this to Strasburg, who also has thoracic outlet syndrome. But one thing that's very different about Strasburg and Wheeler is Strasburg had the thoracic outlet surgery that was an issue with nerves. It was like a nervous issue. Versus Wheeler, who had the venous thoracic outlet surgery, which is a lot more rare, but also, from everything I've heard, has a much better prognosis. This is something that Merrill Kelly got in 2020, I believe, and Merrill Kelly came back strong from that. Obviously, he pitched the next year. He's still a pretty productive pitcher to this day. And I think that this is a good sign that Zack Wheeler is going to return in 2026, even if he might miss the first month or so of the season. But my concern with Wheeler is that peak Zack Wheeler is probably done. It's probably done. With that being said, 85% Zack Wheeler, 80% Zack Wheeler, still a damn good pitcher and one that you'd love to have in the top half of your pitching rotation. But what do you think about Wheeler, and what did you think about that news?
So first off, I'd say 85% Zack Wheeler should be able to win a Cy Young, except for some reason 100% Zack Wheeler can't win a Cy Young, despite the fact that he's the best pitcher in baseball for the last 5 years. I think it's devastating to this year's team. It's devastating to Wheeler. It's devastating to the team. Obviously, when you hear a blood clot, you're just hoping the guy's okay.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna just do all that conditions right. We're past that. We're good. It's just, I don't know. I kind of buy into the Jack Fritz thing. Burn the boats, rally around it, and it seems like they have to some level. But to me, it's a killer injury. It's next year, I'm not counting on him for anything next year. You said 85%. I'm counting on him for zero. And I'm going into the off season. I know it's too early to talk about off season, but I'm going the off season counting on him not being available if I'm Dave Dombrowski. So
we got a question from DMG Dude 2, who wants us to talk about if Wheeler could potentially step down from baseball because of the injury he has. This was a concern that I had until he put out that Instagram post earlier today saying how he's working as hard as he can to, give his best for the city and for the team next year, which I think kind of shut down those rumors. Like, are you expecting nothing in the sense of Wheeler might just call his career quits? He might just, retire? Or are you just saying, we don't know how the surgery is going to go. He might not be able to recover in time, or he might not be able to give us anything. Like, what's the side that you're on there?
So he's what, 36, 37?
I thought he was 35.
I think there's a chance that if this 35, he's going to be 37 at the end of the contract. That's what it is. I think that I look at it, how do I say this? So if he has any true problems with the surgery or rehab, I could absolutely see him calling it a career and just hanging it up. He's been very clear that he wants to go spend time with his kids. He's got 4 kids, right? I think it's 4.
I think you're right, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I know what it's like to have 2. I can't imagine what it's like to have 4. And, even if you're bringing home $40-some-odd million a year, your wife's still going to be trying to get you to help out around the house and everything, right? It's still not right. It's still stressful.
Without a doubt.
Yeah. So I think that in the end, it's. I think as long as the rehab goes relatively good, I think he'll pitch. But again, I don't think he'll be as good. Like I'm just not going to count on him. I'm not saying he won't be as good or won't be 85%. If I'm planning my team, I can't count on it.
Oh, you're right. And this does change the calculus of the way that the Phillies have to approach their offseason. Like one thing, for example, Taijuan Walker, you probably have to keep him next year now. Especially with Andrew Painter being a big question mark. Like, I don't know if you can count on anything out of Andrew Painter next year. You have to keep Taijuan Walker, right?
You have to. I think you do anyhow. Honestly, I don't think anything you're going to get for him is worth getting rid of him with what he does in the clubhouse. He's, a lot of again, this is not very sabermetrics friendly, but the clubhouse matters, and this is where I have to give Rob Thompson his credit. He's really good at that. I think he makes terrible decisions in the field, but I think he's very good about cultivating the clubhouse. And I think that if you look at the first half of the season, I think I told you this team did not look like they were having fun.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's changed a little bit, and it'll definitely change next week when Stubbs gets there. But I think somebody like him, who's a good soldier, who's always at the top of the dugout, who works his ass off, obviously, because look how much better he got. I think you got to keep him around for whatever you're going to get for him. You might get a couple $1 million in salary relief and a lottery ticket, AAA guy or single A guy. No, I'm good. Let's just throw him out there and have him around. Which is how I felt about him all off seasons. Like, listen, let's at least see what this guy has. Let's not just cut him for the sake of cutting him. Let's see if we can get something out of him. And
do you think this increases the odds that the Phillies bring back Ranger Suarez, or would you be more interested in a different starting pitcher on the free agent market?
I think this increases the chances that they put more pressure on Andrew Painter. I haven't looked. I don't think Ranger's coming back. I think that ship sailed. I don't think anything's going to increase the odds of that, to be honest with you. Barring him getting an injury and needing to come back on a cheap deal and needing to take the qualifying offer. He's got Boris as his agent. I just can't see the Phillies ponying up that much money for another starter when Luzardo's going to have to get paid if you want to keep him around soon. And then you really just. I don't see it. I don't see any way Ranger stays.
Yeah, because he's probably going to have multiple years still, and I don't really want to give him a multiple year deal.
I think Ranger's going to be looking for close to the Nola contract.
Probably be looking for that. But
whether he gets it or not, I don't know. But I think that's what he's going to be looking for.
I think the kind of pitcher that I'd be looking at is like somebody that you can get for like a 1-year high potential deal, like a Walker Buehler, who might be kind of cooked, but he also might be really good. You have like Shota Imanaga, who does have a weird club option, player option thing, so he might be on the market. He's going to cost a lot. Merrill Kelly is a name that probably wouldn't be that expensive, and I'd be interested in. Jordan Montgomery would be like a decent guy just to have as depth, better than Taijuan Walker probably. Michael King has a mutual option, so he'll probably be on the market. Dylan Cease, Zach Gallen, Framber Valdez. This is like a pretty interesting free agent class. Brandon Woodruff. I think there's a lot of options that the Phillies can take. Dustin May is another one that's interesting to me. There's a lot of interesting names on the market that aren't Ranger Suarez, and I would be interested in a lot of them because they'd be cheaper than Ranger Suarez over Ranger Suarez.
Yeah, it's kind of where I'm at, and if it's if you do a 1 year one, then that's fine. I could also see them going with like a 2 or 3 year guy on somebody like maybe like a I don't know, like a Jack Flaherty or somebody like that, or even Walker Bueller. Give him 2 years, right? If that's what it takes to get him here, I could see them doing something like that.
Yeah, I think Brandon Woodruff is the name that I've circled. I don't know how much he's going to cost because he's obviously barely pitched in the last 3 years. 11 games in 23. He was out, recovering from surgery the whole year in 24, and has had a really good 8 games in 25, going into his age 33 year. But Brandon Woodruff to me is a guy that's been like always undervalued across the league, and I'd be interested in giving him like a 2 year, $60 million deal or something like that. 2 years, $50 million.
Well, so he's got a mutual $20 million option. So
mutual options never get picked up.
Well, I mean, to your point, he hasn't played a lot. He's in the type of position where the mutual options has a chance to get picked up, right? Somebody who hasn't performed, somebody who everybody believes in, but who's been injured and stuff like that. That's, he's like, well, I'm gonna get guaranteed 20 million. The team's like, well, 20 million. You just did 30 million in your AAV. He did do 153 innings oh no, he didn't pitch at all last year.
He did
67 and 23, and then 43 this year with a 4.39. Or no, sorry, that's a runs against.
No, for the innings totals, he pitched 67 and 23, and he had a full season workload of 153 and 22 and 179 and 21.
Yeah, I see that now. He's at 43 and 2/3 right now. This year, I think that they're picking it up. You're right. He probably declines that.
Yeah, like you're right that like if there were ever to be a mutual option that gets picked up, it would be that one. But I always go under the assumption that mutual options are not going to get picked up because there's going to be somebody that thinks they can be the option.
I do too. Just the way way we kind of thought about it, and with his injuries, I kind of thought that was a logical one that he would be out on.
Yeah. No, that's a good point. Other piece of news that we had, the full schedule for next year is not out yet, but it has come out that the Phillies are going to be in the Field of Dreams game next year against the Minnesota Twins in what's going to be a home game for the Twins, technically. Kind of cool, right? Like the Phillies have had like a chance to get exposed throughout the Blue League Classic and the London series, and this is just a new, big time game for the Phillies to be a part of.
Yeah, and can somebody at the Phillies tell me how to get tickets?
Yeah,
I'll make Iowa work.
I know the way it's worked in the past has been, the season ticket holders for the two teams kind of can enter a lottery and you can get a chance from there. And like, the resale tickets have been like $1,000 plus, which might be worth it. Like it just has always looked so cool in the past. And I love Iowa. I've driven through Iowa before. The rolling cornfields at sunset, it's like actually really pretty. I'd be tempted to go too. Maybe we can meet up.
Yeah, maybe. I've been there. I've been to Iowa a couple times. I was there last year for a college football game. Had a great weekend, despite the game. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. But just going to Field of Dreams and it's my favorite movie. And my dad and I have already talked since today. We've already talked about how we're going to make that happen. So really, just about finding a way to get tickets at a reasonable price.
Absolutely, which hopefully can happen.
You're going to spend more than you should for a ticket to a baseball game, but. You want to find, you want to try to get them a reasonably priced. It's a once in a lifetime chance too. So,
yeah, and I'm really excited for the jerseys. They always have cool jerseys for those one-off games in Field of Dreams game or like Crickwood Field or all these different things they do. As like a big jersey collector, I am excited to see what the Phillies do for some kind of cool retro look. I want to get a call back to the Philadelphia Blue Jays. They used to be,
of course,
the Philadelphia Blue Jays for a couple of years, and I think that would be really cool to have like a callback to those days. But we'll see.
Yeah, I definitely would love to see what they come up with on the jersey side. I'm a jersey collector as well. You're well aware. So I would love to get that, but that's one of those I would not collect unless I actually attended that game.
Yeah, for me, I just am like all the weird jerseys I want, right? Like I have like the Saturday Night Special jerseys. I have a game used Yaxel Rios game jersey from that Saturday Night Special. I have like the 2017 and 2018 Players Weekend jerseys, which are kind of weird ones.
Which
I
why do
have
they
one
not
of
do that anymore? Why they just I don't understand why they don't. Sorry, that's just Players Weekend is so much fun, and seeing Chase Utley with was it Silver Fox on the back of his
yeah,
jersey was just fantastic.
yeah. I have a Reese Hoskins Big Fella is the one that I have there, and I have an
Nice.
Aaron Nola one. But in 2017, Aaron Nola did not want a nickname on his jersey, so it just says Nola, which very Aaron Nola. That doesn't surprise me.
I said that sounds like Nola, and that's fine.
Yeah, yeah, no, for sure. Um, so looking ahead to the next series, we go up to Queens to play the Mets for the next 3 games. Monday, Christopher Sanchez against Kodai Senga, really good pitching matchup. Tuesday night, Jesus Luzardo against Sean Manaea, who's been kind of bad this year, ERA above 5. And then Tobin Walker against Nolan McLean on Wednesday, the young guy who's had a really, really good first couple games. We're now 7 up on the Mets, so this is an opportunity to really kind of potentially go 10 up and kind of make the division race be kaput. What are you expecting out of the series?
I'm expecting to be disappointed, and hoping I'm not the opposite. I got a really good friend who's a Mets fan. He's season ticket holder up there, and he's dreading going to the games, which means they're probably going to win all 3.
Yeah.
Um, I want I told him about a month ago. I was like, no, I want to play you in the playoffs. We owe you. And now with how far back they are and how they're barely hanging on to the wild card spot, I want no part of them in the playoffs because if they get to the playoffs, they're going to be hot, and I don't need any of that devil Mets magic again. That was once was enough.
Yeah, I mean, this is a chance to bury them not only in the division but
Yes.
also the Reds, right? Like, you could knock the Mets out of the playoff spot that they're in right now if you sweep them.
Yeah, I didn't see what the Reds did today. If they have anything, let me look that up. But yeah, I think that anything we can knock them out. Now, thankfully, the Braves finally woke up this weekend and helped us out. Um, but the Mets, just I want no part of them.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you on that. So the Phillies do have some big games, coming up the rest of this year. They have 7 still against the Mets. They have 3 against the Dodgers out in LA, and they have 3 against the Brewers in Milwaukee. What to you is the most important set of games that we have? The Mets, the Dodgers, or the Brewers?
It's the Dodgers. That Brewery series won't mean anything if I'm remembering correctly. It's the last week of the year or the second last week of the year.
I have it reversed. The Brewers one is coming up in like a week
Oh,
here,
the
and
Brewers
then the
one's next week.
Dodgers.
The Dodgers are
Yes,
Dodgers second last week. I was the Twins is who I was thinking of, not the Brewers. The last week of the year. It's still the Brewers one. That's not going to matter. They've got unless we sweep it, they've got a stranglehold on the 1 seed, and let them be hot until they collapse in October, like they will, because they're smoke and mirrors. I think. I have not. I'm not. I don't know how they're winning. Um, the Mets, obviously, if we get swept this week, then the next Mets series becomes the most important one. But if we go 2 out of 3 this week, that next one won't matter. The
even one of
Dodgers
3
series is it,
probably.
huh?
Even 1 of 3 probably would be enough to keep the Mets at
Yeah,
bay.
yeah. And then the Dodgers are going to be about the bye. And honestly, if we can go into LA and sweep them like we did last year in LA when we went there, we'll be able to. We might knock them out of the division.
Very
You know,
possible.
we might make them a wild card team, which even better, right? But get that bye, don't have to play those 3 games, and just relax and play your whatever games, your simulated games and all that stuff, but don't get the bye.
The
So
buy
to
is
me, the
what
Dodgers
matters.
series. What?
No,
Uh,
I'm with you. I have the
okay.
Dodgers at number 1. We're currently 3 up on the Dodgers, but the Padres are actually winning that division right now. We're 2 up over the Padres. But as far as getting that bye, which I agree with you is the most important thing, Dodgers the most important series. After that, I have the Mets. So that very quickly could become not relevant if we do sweep them. This week in New York. And then I have the Brewers at number 3. It was a little closer than I thought. We're only 5 games back in Milwaukee. So I wouldn't expect to make up that 5-game difference, over the next, month and change, especially since they kind of destroyed us and we don't have the tiebreaker of them as things stand right now. But this all could change. This all could change, and I am excited that we have some exciting series coming up in September. It was great to kind of have that division in lockdown and positioning in lockdown last year, going into September, but games that start to matter when the weather cools down, like it's just something special, and I'm looking forward to it this year.
Yeah, I am too. And yeah, I can't wait.
So
I just checked it out. The
that
Dodgers don't play the Padres again this year.
yeah, weird. Like the season series end so soon. Now that you only have 4 against each of your
Today's the
divisional
last day.
rivals.
Yeah,
Yeah,
today's the last day for those guys.
which it's really turning into a good rivalry. Like I wouldn't be surprised to see them match up in the playoffs again, like we saw last year. But you
Yeah.
never know. Um, that was all that I had for today. Did you have anything else, metssuck?
No, I'm good, man. This has been fun, and hope we go out and sweep the Mets this week.
Absolutely. I am so glad to see Cole Hamels broadcasting more games. I think he's so good. I've
I,
enjoyed watching every Cole Hamels broadcast.
I'll be honest. If Kruk's not in the booth, I mute it and watch something else.
Fair,
I
fair.
just watch the game and I don't listen to it. If without Kruk in the booth, I'm not interested.
For me, Schmidt is like by far the worst broadcaster the Phillies have. To be like,
That's fair. I love Schmidt though, so he's always going to be. I'm always going to enjoy listening to him talk because I grew up. I mean, he was my favorite player growing up. I mean,
right?
I literally cried the day he retired.
Yeah, we haven't
I was
seen him in a
in
long time. It feels like, but hopefully everything's okay with him.
Yeah, I was in like I think third grade. Got off the bus, got home. My mom's like, "I know something you don't know," and then she made me. She didn't tell me until like the 6 o'clock news came on. I had to watch it and just cried my eyes out.
Oh, that's brutal.
Yeah,
Brutal.
she enjoyed that way too much. I've paid her
Yeah,
back since then.
as you should. But yeah, thank you for coming on today, and we'll have to talk to you in the future.
Sounds good, man. Appreciate it.
See you later. And thank you everybody for
Yep, good.
listening. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast, give us a review, especially on Apple Podcasts if you haven't yet. It really does help us out. And if you have any questions, either send them to me on Reddit or you can send them on our podcast channel on the Discord server. We will be back after this Met series to talk to you all. Might be a little bit later on Wednesday than what I normally do because I think I'm going to the game Wednesday night. But I will get an episode out Wednesday night, Thursday morning, regardless. So see you all then and have a good one.